Good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to analyze a game I played yesterday. So, the opponent starts with e4, so I played the Dutch defense. He played the Queen's Gambit, and I played the stone wall of variation of the Dutch. So, he takes on d5, and then he checks with the Queen. So, I defend with the bishop. So, he has to move the Queen now, otherwise, his Queen will be dead. So, he now attacks the pawn. So instead of defending it, I develop my knight. So he takes the pawn and I castle. Now he just tries to retreat his queen back to his homeland. So now I attack his queen, and my idea is also to now, let's say if he moves here, I can just fork the king and the rook. So he just moves back his queen to the homeland. Now I can't just go here, otherwise it will be a huge blunder. So I make a less blunder and I just sacrifice my bishop. So it so if the queen takes my bishop, I can now fork the king and the rook. But he takes my bishop with his knight. With his knight. But still I go to knight c2 with my knight, essentially a blunder, but it's a game. And in such lower rated games, it's an attack, a wave of madness like thing. So I think if he takes with the queen, I can just fork the king and the knight and essentially do something, because now I have started the attack, so I have to continue it. Otherwise, I will just lose. So I just sacrifice my knight also for sake of the game, and then I check the king with the queen. And there is also an idea in these lower rated games, if you check the king and he has to move, then essentially you gain a bit of advantage in the game. So I have sacrificed my bishop, my knight, and I am down 7 points worth of material. So now he defends with the knight. Now the knight is just pinned, and the knight has two defenders. The pawn, the pawn defends this square, and the queen defends the c3 square. So the knight goes to c3. Now I attack the knight with my rook, but still the knight has two defenders, so he is not worried. So he plays a normal developing move, and then I attack the knight with my bishop, bishop to b4. Now he has to defend his knight, so he plays rook to c1, and then I again attack the knight with my own knight, knight to e4. Now he has to just sort of defend the knight, otherwise he will lose material. So instead of defending the knight, he attacks my own knight, and he also prepares to castle the king. So if I now make a ideal move here, he will castle the king and he will definitely win the game. So now I must make moves like that bishop takes knight, so that the king always remains in check. So I play the same move, the king remains in check. Now he takes with the pawn, and now I take with the rook. Now the queen is in danger of getting captured, and there is a discovered check. So he defends his queen, which is essentially a blunder, because now if I take with my rook, his king is in check and he also can take my rook, because it's a double check. So he moves his king upside to e2, and now I check the king with my knight, knight to c3, and now the king can't go downside. He has only one square to go, that is d2. So he goes king to d2, and now I have another discovered check, that is knight to a4. Now I can win his queen. The queen is gone. In such type of games, if the queen is gone, you win about half the game. So now he takes my rook. I now take his queen, and I give my rook and my knight for a queen. And now the material is equal, but now I have just sort of like an advantage in the game because the queen is gone. So I check him with the, so I don't check him, I try to put him in a box like structure. So he defends his king with his rook, tries to defend it sort of like. Now there is a mate in 1, but I missed it. It's a blitz game, so I missed it. But I played my moves very fast. So I checked the king with the queen, and he defended it. And now my queen is in an attack with the rook. The rook can capture my queen. So I defend my queen. I move it to another square, and then he blunders the knight because I can just fork the knight and the king and also the bishop. It's a triple fork. So now he develops his rook. He blocks the way with the rook, and I take the bishop, and now his times ran out and he lost. It was such a entertaining game. I all very much enjoyed it. Now the next move well can be it. The king is in a box, so he can't just go anywhere else. Suppose he plays any move, I will just pin the king with the rook, and I can then he plays any move like this, I can just try to win the rook. I will just mate him. It's a winning game. So okay. So thank you guys for watching my game. Bye.